So, this that we call life is so simple and ordinary. Everything's appearing to happen on its own. And really, nothing is happening. There is no knowing of what's actually happening. We think that we know how to control life, figure life out. We think we know what's best for us, for our loved ones, for the world. When we feel like we exist, I'm real, then everyone else is real. I have responsibility over my life, and so does everyone else. There's this need to make it good or to make it the way that I want, to create a life I believe is worthy, worthwhile, successful. That's valuable in other people's eyes. There's such a heaviness that can come from believing that you're real, that you and your whole world, your whole life is an actual reality. What seems to happen when there's a sense of self that feels like it's in control of its own life, it can really easily oscillate between feeling good and feeling bad. I have it, I lost it. I'm enough, I'm unworthy. I love life, I hate life. I feel like I have control, I have no control. And it's constantly doing that. It might not feel very clear because that very sense automatically claims every functioning of the body. And it's an absolute energetic sense that you can't really pinpoint exactly what it is, but there is an energetic sense that automatically claims everything. And it feels like it's moving in time, seeing opposites, wanting to be a certain way, avoiding another way of being. There will be this sense of really holding on to certain things and really avoiding certain things because of the way it perceives things, because of underlying beliefs or traumas. Like, who knows what it is? It's so unique. So all of these interesting games are played, and there's nothing wrong with trying to untangle all of that. But really at the very root or core of this illusion is this sense of absolute aloneness and this sense of lack, that I'm incomplete, and a fear of life and death. And so it really does avoid all of that. And how it avoids it is through its own personal reality. It tries to get things and avoid things. It plays this game. It's trying to mend this very root essence that can't be avoided. So it will always feel like life is a bit heavy and burdensome because there's this sense of responsibility and this sense of control that I really do have a say in how things go. And it's my responsibility to make it good, to make sure it turns out good. And then when it searches for freedom, it's searching for the own absence of itself, really. In a way, it wants to put all that burden down. It wants to find peace. It wants to just be free. But that sense will never really truly find freedom. It will always be temporary. It will never last very long, even if it seems like it can last a couple years. It's still temporary. And using these kind of words, it sounds like time is real, but there is no time. Outside of the so-called illusion, it's absolutely timeless. There is no progression, there is no movement. Apparent movement appears, but it's all absolutely still. It's silence sounding, and there's no separation. There's no distinction. There's no real knowing of that. It's just words and descriptions of something that can't be named. It can't be known. So life was never your responsibility. All of the thoughts, emotions, actions, wants, desires, fears, aversions, whatever it was, you were never doing that. You were never at the center of anything. Life was just living. And life will continue to live. I was going to say with or without you, but you're already not there. It just appears, it just really might feel like you're there, but it's really a mystery exactly what the illusion is. Because I can say here that it was a cellular sense all over the body, kind of subtle but kind of profound, and could only be in a way recognized once it was gone, because that very sense is the identification, or is the claiming and owning of all the functioning of the body, and it automatically happens. So it can't, in a way, it can't really see itself. What can seem to happen is that both the doubt and the absolute certainty of something can just dissolve. And it's just life, it's just what's happening. The body still functions, it still moves, it still does, it has natural impulses. And it's just so obvious that no one's in control of anything. The impulse to change something is an impulse. No one created that, no one made that happen. And these are all words to describe something that can't be described, because nothing's actually happening. There really is no change, no growth, no progression, no path, no time. No real cause and effect. It's just an amazing interpretation that happens. So seeking is the illusion, and what it's searching for ultimately is its own absence. I say ultimately because it might appear like it's seeking for happiness, success, a perfect state, happiness. I said happiness. Peace. Like whatever it might be, it's ultimately really searching for the absence of itself. And unfortunately, it's never going to happen for that sense. But also not unfortunately, because it's not really real. But as a description, when that sense of illusion is really confronted, there can be a lot of fear, a sense of total aloneness, or a deep sense of lack that can arise. And it can trigger a lot of personal stories as well. And I can't say this for sure, but in a way, the body can also sense when it's okay to let go. So when a natural surrender happens, it's really not something that can be figured out, dissected, known, understood. It's the end of understanding anything. It's the clear seeing that I was never here to know anything. It feels much more real when there's a sense of me that owns the knowledge of the brain or any knowledge. It just feels real, almost automatically. And so then it seems like other apparent bodies really know something, or they don't know. There's this higher and lower going on. But really, no one knows anything. The brain, which is just a word, it's not really there. Like speaking is just happening. Nothing is speaking. It's emptiness speaking. And that's the case everywhere. It just might really feel like I'm speaking, that these are my words, that there is some reality to my story and my beliefs. It's quite amazing that that can happen. So sometimes when these beliefs and concepts are challenged, it can feel painful. It can feel like a little attack to you, to this sense. And that can feel really real and painful. But what we call the death of me is not pretty. It's not really a pretty thing.